This is the format that I use on almost everything that I generate. Pretty much everything I do is written as 2 columns. Here's why. Let's learn physics. Here's our full-size United States government book, Democracy in Action. 2 columns, everywhere you look. Here's a general chemistry book I stole from across the hall. 2 columns for the questions, 1 wide column with a whole lot of space for the rest of it. American literature book seems to be actually about the worst. Physics book, 2 columns. You have to be able to track. Your eyes have to be able to return to the next line easily, so has to be a relatively narrow column or taller print. Here's a pretty complicated book. That's actually more difficult to read, but most of it is in a 2-column format. I used to write all the way across the page when I put anything together for any of my students, but then started looking at it and realized that that's difficult to read. Even books printed 2/3 of the way across the page are not wider than a paperback. These books are printed at this width because it is easier to track from one line to the next. It's nice and easy to read, and people will pick them up and, well, they'll read them. That's what we want in our classes. Pick up a magazine, and often magazines are 3 column. Narrow columns are easier to read, and that's what we want. I've saved the best for last. Here's the Physics AP exam. The free response section, it's written all the way across the page, but there's a lot of space. Not hard to read 3 or 4 lines, but the multiple choice, all double column. So if you want to remove some of those impediments, if you want to make it just a little bit easier for your students to read the things that you give them, 2 columns. Double column format is not a bad idea. It makes it just a little bit easier to read. Pretty much everybody uses it. Takes a little bit of effort at first, but it's a good idea. I found it to be quite successful.